you've ever been yelled at for doodling in class, this next story is for you.
Tom Nguyen turned his doodles into a career as a comic book artist.
Up next, Katie gets a chance to sketch with a pro.
This is something I already started, a Spider-Man pose. What a mess.
You must go through a lot of pens and ink and all that, huh?
Yes, I make a trip to the art store every week to restock.
Tom, why don't you tell us what you do for a living?
I'm a comic book artist, and I've worked for DC Comics and Marvel Comics, among other side projects like portrait painting and airbrush painting.
So what are some comics that our viewers will recognize that you've worked on?
Well, the first comic I don't think many people recognize because that got canceled, but it was Major Bummer, which was my first pro work, and that was back in late '96, early '97. But after that, I've done Superman, and I've done Justice League, and Batman, X-Men.
How'd you get started in the industry?
Well, after I dropped out of college, after only 1 year, I decided to send my samples out through recommendation of a friend who was already in the comic book industry, and I tried out, and they called me back and said, "We want to hire you," so it's just pure luck. I will mentally project what I see in my head onto the paper, and I'm tracing what I see mentally. Then I'll fill in black areas where I need to.
So what's the process for creating or whatever you do with the comics?
The process usually starts with a writer, and the writer will write a script and will send it to the penciler, and the penciler, and his name is Doug Mankey, and I work with him, he's local, and he'll draw it out in pencil, and he'll just kind of place all the characters where they are. He'll send those pages to me, and then I'll take that and I'll finish it. I'll literally redraw it in ink, adding detail where I need to, blacks and shadows and everything, and then it goes off to the colorist. And then the letterist, which puts all the word balloons in there, and then it goes back to New York City to the editor, who approves of everything, and if everything looks good, then it goes to print.
How much creativity are you able to work with? Like, are there specific limitations that you have to work around?
Well, the editor always has the final say, but I have a lot of leeway to do what I need to. If the stuff isn't drawn in very tightly, then I can kind of add or just kind of fib a bit and just use my creativity to add detail and some background elements if I wanted to.
That is so cool.
That's an eyeball.
How many comic books would you say that you work on in a year?
I started out maybe doing 8 to 10 comic books in a year, but now I'm up to 12 to 14 comic books a year.
Wow, and when you work on them, is it an entire comic book that you do?
Yes.
And how long does that take?
Well, an entire comic book is 22 pages, and that usually takes about a month's worth of work. I can go faster if I have to, but I'd rather go a little more slower and a little more comfortable pace. So what I want you to do is just imitate me.
Okay.
We're just going to do a bunch of simple shapes,
okay,
and then when we're done, it's going to turn into something, okay?
Okay.
I want you to draw a circle, another circle. I want you to draw a line that goes straight across.
Okay.
Oh, it's getting there, it's getting there.
I'm going to fix that. What advice do you have for teens who are interested in art but not sure what direction they want to take?
Just to keep exploring, just keep drawing what you enjoy drawing. Don't let anybody put you down. Sometimes you'll have friends or teachers who might discourage you from drawing cartoons or comic book art. I know I had my fair share of that growing up by some people, but I would always secretly do it in my spare time. I don't recommend not paying attention in school, but that's what I did. Instead of writing notes in my notebook, I would just draw and doodle. My notebooks never had any notes. And just if you enjoy it, keep doing it, and things will happen for you. If you have a goal and you want to achieve something, it will happen. 3 dots, then draw another loop, draw another curve down, just like so.
Oh, I see it now.
Some triangular squiggly lines.
Okay,
That's not too bad. That's better than my first attempt.
Should I sign it?
Sign it.
Cool.
And I'll sign it my way.